What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of I'm Not Lying podcast. I know, we've been gone for a minute, but we're still in school and school's rough. All right. So, I don't know about you, but I keep hearing about how the Buccaneers need to get rid of Jameis Winston.
Yep, they should. He's not. The Buccaneers aren't doing anything right now with Jameis Winston. And it's a time for a change.
But think about it. Who else is going to go to Tampa Bay? Who else is willing to go to Tampa Bay that has any chance of changing that organization from what it is now? There's nobody currently. I cannot think of a quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
You can tank next year and get Trevor Lawrence. That's one option.
Or, because even if they tank, I don't even think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could completely sit Jameis Winston.
Right.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't going to get the first overall pick. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. If they start Jameis Winston, of course they're not getting the number one overall pick. But even if they don't, if they decide to move on from him, you're still not going to be able to tank and get the number one pick. I'm sorry, there are more teams who I feel like just are going to be worse just solely because of how they're set up.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know.
If Phillip Rivers leaves the Chargers could get the number one pick.
I don't. I think the Chargers are better than that. They're good. Good running game, good
they
receivers.
They were held back by Phillip Rivers. I will say that.
Yeah.
But if the Chargers don't get another quarterback,
they'll still win at least 7 games. Because chances are, even if they lose Phillip Rivers, they're gonna replace him with with either a decent draft pick or one of the top free agents.
I hope so. All right. So everybody's telling me everybody's saying that Buccaneers need to get rid of Jameis Winston. They don't. The Buccaneers need to build around Jameis Winston and understand that
they have Mike Evans.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay, cool. You have good receivers. And what? Matt Stafford had great receivers all his career. What messed up Matt Stafford? Hasn't been his receiving core. Hasn't even been his defense. It's the fact that they was Matt Stafford or bust. It had no running backs whatsoever. Nobody could get even 75 yards on a good day. They relied too much on Matt Stafford. And Matt Stafford, and I was talking to Morgan about this, Matt Stafford and Jameis Winston both have the same issue. They have terrific receivers, but no running game, right? That's to a lesser extent what was the problem with the Chiefs last year. That's why they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, because they were too heavily reliant on Patrick Mahomes. And look, I'm not saying that Jameis Winston isn't someone that you should put. I'm not saying he's someone that you shouldn't put the game into, but to put whether you win or lose on someone who you already know has decision-making issues,
right,
and that's only going to get worse as you continue to force-feed him the ball. No, I'm sorry. You can give him all these great receivers, but if that's all he's going to do is throw to these great receivers, who, by the way, wasn't even healthy the whole season.
That's true.
And you're not going to give him any help, relief by running the football?
Like Jameis Winston, he's a decent quarterback, but he's not going to get you over the hump. So they went 7-9 last year. They're probably not going to be better than the Falcons next year. The Falcons, if they're they went on a crazy stretch late in the year, so I think they're going to carry that
on a crazy stretch in the late year? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, but
they won 5 of their last 8.
The Falcons are more talented. So I think they're going to move up to
should that say
9
more
or
about
10 wins, and
that should say more about the Buccaneers than the Falcons. Oh wow, Jameis Winston took.
But I don't see them.
I'm not saying he took a bunch of scrubs, but he essentially
he's not taking that team. He's not making that team a 10-win team.
Of course not, because they have no running game.
So I think they should just
they have no. Think about it. Every playoff team at least had a good running game or were able to use the running backs in the passing game. Think about it. Every playoff team. Packers.
Right.
Aaron Williams. Chiefs had the 2 D. Williams and LaShawn McCoy. Titans just could run it. Ravens could run it. Everybody who made
the 49ers.
What? Did you not see the 49ers all this season?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just more than the running game. But even if they fix the running game, it's still not going to get them over the hump. And I think,
yeah, of course not. It's worse than the running game. They also had one of the worst kickers in the NFL, which I'm going to get into later. Their pass defense was horrific, like bottom 6. But I mean, look, all I'm going to say is I believe to this Jameis Winston season, I have some stats compiled here.
Okay.
The good, the bad, and the Jameis.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get. You're going to get some good, you're going to get some bad, you're going to get some Jameis. So let's start off with the good, right? So for the good, Jameis Winston had a 129.9 passer rating on play-action passes, despite his team being only 24th in the league in rushing.
Okay.
Think about it. That's better than Dak Prescott, Deshaun, Pat, Lamar Jackson, better than all those guys as far as pass rating on play-action passes. How about in the red zone, where it matters, right?
Right.
Better passer rating than Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. I want people to understand this at home. He went 19-1. 9 touchdowns, 1 interception in the red zone. That means if you can just get him there.
So they should just have him as a red zone quarterback.
No, not even. Because, all right, so my thing is, yes, okay. So I also have another stat here, which I cannot find because I wrote a terribly small script. But essentially, I got it right here. In his own half of the field, Jameis Winston has a 64.6 passer rating. In his opponent's half of the field, he has a 111.9 passer rating with 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Now, I'm not saying you keep Jameis off the field until you're in your opponent's half, but I don't know, maybe try to run the ball some. Run the ball till you get to the opponent's 40-yard line, and then start throwing it all willy-nilly, right? I feel like that was Jameis' problem. That's why he's thrown the bulk of his interceptions. Right? He's not killing drives. He's not killing long, lengthy drives, right? That's not Jameis' knock. Jameis' knock is that once you get to the Jameis' knock was he couldn't finish drives once you fell behind. If you can't run the ball, Jameis is a good system quarterback. He's a quarterback to where get a good 3-4 yards on first down on a good run play, or even 5 or 6. Right. Get another good 4 or 5, and then do a play action pass and do a play pass out the shotgun. Then go back to running the ball. Jameis is not a quarterback to where you can be like, hey, our running game is only going to give you 75 yards on 2.6 yards per rush. So we're going to need you to throw for 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And you're going to throw the ball 50 times. That's not Jameis.
Right.
I mean, he could do it, but he's not going to give you that no interceptions part.
I mean, if he's that good, then he might as well leave and go to a place that has a good running game and that will surround him.
LA.
To the Chargers?
Yes. If Phillip Rivers, I believe Phillip Rivers. Actually, no. It would be good for Jameis. It would be good for Jameis to go to LA, but it would be terrible for Phillip Rivers to go to Tampa.
Yeah, well, I mean, Phillip Rivers might retire too, but I don't know. He's just too much risk involved. I see him going to like the Raiders, someone who's going to a new city, doesn't really have crazy expectations. Because I feel like in LA, even though the Chargers are the number 2 team there, if he's not performing well, the media's still gonna be on him.
The media's on him right now.
Yeah, so I think he'd be better fit in another small market, just not Tampa Bay, because it's it hasn't worked for the last couple of years, and also his off the field kind of history isn't helping him either. I
feel that. Now, another thing about Jameis, he is a terrifically better road quarterback. He's leagues better on the road than he is at home, right? Which is why I say LA, because essentially in LA, every game, regardless home or away, is a home game because LA's fan base is terrible, right?
Yeah.
He has a 102.7 road passer rating. That's better than Dak. in Carson, right? But it's 69.1 at home. 15 touchdowns to 20 interceptions.
Right.
At home, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on the road. Now, I'm not saying that Jameis Winston's a better road quarterback than he's a home quarterback, because I don't think that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But Jameis doesn't make a lot of sense, so if it made sense for anybody, it would make sense for that to describe Jameis. Now, and he also led the league in passing. Can't ignore that. Now, here's the bad about Jameis Winston. Yes.
The interceptions?
30 interceptions in the season is not good, going 30 and 30.
Yeah.
But I do remember one particular person who Jameis Winston reminds me a lot of as far as arm talent, decision making. Brett Favre went 22 and 22 in 2009 with the Jets. Then he went to the Vikings. 2010 took him to what? The conference championships, right? Where they lost to the Saints?
Yeah.
It's not impossible for just him to be like,
but it was a change of scenery.
Okay. So if Jameis needs to change the scenery, and so be it. You know, but you know who that Minnesota team also had?
Who?
Adrian
Peterson. Yes. That's very true.
I cannot tell you the last good New York Jets running back that has been there for longer than 4 years.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Yeah, no, I can't think of...
Doug Martin splashed for 2 years. One of them happened to be before Jameis was there.
Right.
And then another one was his rookie year, and then he just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah. What if he goes to... Are the Dolphins going to do anything in the draft?
The Dolphins should not invest in Jameis Winston. I don't believe the Dolphins should invest in Jameis Winston because as it currently sits right now, they don't need an already established quarterback. They need a young quarterback who you can mold.
Like a Tua.
Yes, like a Tua. You essentially need a rookie second year, which is why they went after Josh Rosen. Because they was like, okay, we don't need someone who's already been in the league. They just got Ryan Fitzpatrick as insurance.
Right.
It was like, let's go after Josh Rosen, see if we can mold him into the quarterback of the future. And if not, then we'll just tank and then get something in the draft. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, Jameis also got like LASIK eye surgery. You think that's going to help him?
I believe it will. Because if you can see the field better, I assume that, you'll be able to...
I just hope that's not like he got that surgery just as an excuse and like a cop out to justify the 38 interceptions last year.
30 interceptions. I mean, if it is, that's definitely an unique way of trying to cop out.
Right. But I mean, there was a baseball player that did the same thing. Like Dan Uggla used to play for the Braves. Like he had like a terrible season, got eye surgery. Like he's like, I can see the ball better, and like still had a terrible season. So.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Jameis does all of this and he still has a terrible season, then all right, I'm going to give up on him. But I don't think Jameis was as bad. They just never tried to build a team around Jameis. They never even tried. I'm like, Buccaneers, draft the running back. That's really all you need. Yes, you had Mike Evans. You had Deshaun Jackson. You had wide receivers. That wasn't your problem. Jameis Winston. I don't know who you thought Jameis Winston was, but no good quarterback does it by themselves.
Yeah.
All quarterbacks need at least a running back that people can pay attention to.
That's true. Yeah, right now they have Payne Barber, Ronald Jones.
Speaking of those two, here's the part where I would say the Buccaneers definitely relied on Jameis too much. The Buccaneers had 322 offensive first downs. 261 of those first downs came from Jameis either throwing the ball or running the ball. 61 came from everybody else.
Crazy.
Think about that. He accounted for 81 of his team's offensive first downs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To give you a clear sense of how little first downs 61 is, There were 7 players in the league who picked up 60 first downs just rushing the ball alone, and Lamar Jackson was one of them.
Wow. Yeah, it's bad. But do you think it's like Carson Wentz didn't really have that many pieces around him either? So, like especially like late.
Well,
in the
also
season.
Jameis Winston is a Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's true. So like even if he has pieces around him, how good is he?
I'm not even Jameis Winston. It's not necessarily about the pieces around him. It's do the pieces around him fit, right?
Right.
Like, you can give Drew Brees a Tyreek Hill. Drew Brees is not going to use Tyreek Hill well. Why? Because he doesn't throw the deep ball too crazy. He doesn't have a super powerful arm so he can hit Tyreek Hill on a 50-yard wheel route. That's not Drew Brees' game. Drew Brees' game is nice and accurate intermediate passes. If you look at the Saints, that's really all they did. All they did was run Michael Thomas on 10-yard ends, like 9-yard posts. Like, it was never like some crazy 25-yard fade route that he threw for like 50 yards. It was nothing that crazy.
So, you think that's more on like the poor running backs on the Buccaneers, or is it more of like the offensive coordinator and the head coach?
I mean, so another thing was the fact that Tampa Bay has also been like, ever since like Doug Martin's like splash year, they've been the only team to finish in the bottom 6 in yards per rush each of the last 4 years. Like they've never came up, never tried to come up. They're just scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point as far as like running the ball. So I don't want to put it solely on the coordinators, but I also don't want to, because like you just couldn't run the ball.
Yeah. How many times do you have the stat like how many times Jameis got sacked?
40. It was 47.
47?
Yes, he got sacked 47 times.
Could be offensive line too.
It could be offensive line. Because it could be offensive line. That's a good way to look at it. But my thing about this whole Jameis situation is all right, and then of course the name who always comes up to replace Jameis is Derek Carr.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Derek Carr. Let's talk about why he should not replace Jameis for either party. All right, here's why Derek Carr shouldn't want to go to
Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Right? The Oakland Raiders had 12 rushing touchdowns in the 7 wins. In their 9 losses, they only had 1 rushing touchdown. In all those games, they had 9 losses. Now, Derek Carr has some good games in there, has some bad games in there. But if the Oakland Raiders weren't contributing to the scoreboard, running the football, they were terrible, right? Carr's passer rating in the 7 wins was 111.3. In the 9 losses was 93.5. Oakland ran the ball. They averaged 23 more rushing yards than Tampa Bay does.
Okay.
They're 9 slots ahead of them as far as yards per rush. So why should Derek Carr even want to go to Tampa? Tampa is not a place where if Derek Carr goes, Derek Carr is going to revitalize. No, Derek Carr is going to be a lesser version of Jameis Winston.
I mean, yeah, like no, he's not as good as Jameis Winston, but it's just like a new change of scenery, and I don't think any other team, like other than maybe like the Bears, would want Derek Carr. And it's like you'd rather be.
They shouldn't.
I mean, yeah, they shouldn't, but like, yeah, he's not that good, but.
Because think about it, Derek Carr's completion percentage and pass rating has gone up every year. What has that gotten him? That's why I don't understand. Like people keep talking about like, Jameis only completed 60% of his passes. Yeah, Derek Carr completed like 70 and missed the playoffs. Yeah. Granted, he was in the playoff race until like the very end, but him and Jameis ended up in the same record, and he completed 10% more of his passes than Jameis.
I mean, Derek Carr, like, he had that crazy season, was it like 2016 or 17?
His completion percentage was...
It wasn't as good, but, like, he still, like, led a team to, like, a playoff run, and they had a chance.
Got hurt.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been the same since.
Yeah.
So, I was like, okay, so we're going to talk about Derek Carr replacing Jameis Winston. Let's look at this season because they both went 7-9.
Right.
You know, Winston won 5 of his last 8. Derek Carr lost 5 of his last 8. But no, let's look at this. Okay, let's start with Jameis Winston. Okay, you lose to San Francisco.
That's
All right.
fair.
That's relative. You beat Carolina.
Okay, it's given.
Yeah. Then you lose to the New York Giants. Everyone kills Jameis for this.
Right.
I'm like, this isn't Jameis' fault. If you watch the game, Jameis Winston led his team on a game-winning drive, had it all the way down in the red zone, and the field goal kicker just missed like a chip shot field goal. Like it's and it wasn't even. There was no wind. It was nothing. Like it was missed from the moment he kicked the ball. That one's not on Jameis, right? Okay, then you blow out the Rams. Well, you don't blow them out, but if you told me the Rams were going to score 40, I'd be like, oh, Tampa Bay loses.
Yeah,
and
right.
then I find out that Tampa Bay scores 55, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, and then they lose to the Saints, the Carolina Panthers.
Was that in Carolina?
No, that was the one game in London
Oh,
where
yeah,
he
yeah.
had like those 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
Then you lose to Tennessee Titans, and you lost to Seattle only because Seattle got the ball first in overtime. I can't fault them for either one of those 4 games. I can't fault them for losing either one of those 4 games. And think about it, Tampa Bay gets the ball first in overtime in that game. Who knows what happened? Okay, so they beat Arizona, lose to the Saints again, which, wow. Then you beat Atlanta, beat Jacksonville, beat Indiana, beat Detroit, and then you lose to Houston by 3 in a game that which the kicker missed the field goal, all right? And then you lose to Atlanta in overtime in the game, when your kicker went 0 for 3 on field goals, and your running back fumbled on the 9-yard line.
James did throw an interception.
But
he threw like 2 interceptions that game.
Okay, yes, Jameis threw 2 interceptions.
But yeah, I mean.
But think about it.
The kicker.
9-yard line. The opponent's 9-yard line. You fumble and it gets returned for a touchdown.
Right.
That's a 12-point swing right there. No, 13-point swing. 14. Let's go with 14. Because you could have been, I think, up like 14. No, I think it's tied. Something like that. And your kicker goes 0 for 3 for field goals. What is Jim? He's like, look, I'm setting you up for points. Even if the fumble still does happen, if his kicker can just make 1 field goal.
Right.
We have no 30-30 season. Tampa Bay Buccaneers finished 8-8. And understand, if Jameis Winston's kicker.
Wait, is the kicker Matt Gay or someone else?
Matt Gay.
Yeah.
Yes. Tampa Bay whipped on Roberto Aguayo and haven't been the same since.
Yeah, he sucks. He was a waste of a draft pick. Now he's in the XFL.
But if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicker was just any semblance of
Right. If
just
he was an NFL kicker.
Exactly. If he was an NFL kicker, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could have possibly went 10-6.
That's a playoff team.
If they get the ball first against Seattle in overtime, could have been 11-5.
Wow.
But we're going to crucify Jameis for throwing 30 interceptions. But we're not going to talk about how his kick. Okay. Now let's talk about Derek Carr. You beat Denver, the Joe Flacco at Denver Broncos. Nice. Then you lose to Kansas City, which I'm not going to kill you for it because it's Kansas City. Then you lose to Minnesota by 20.
Minnesota's good. They're a double-digit win team.
All right, yeah, fine. And then you beat the Colts. Cool.
Impressive.
You did not just say impressive. All right, cool. Right. You beat Chicago. Cool.
Good.
You lose to Green Bay.
Okay, that's fair. That's about 3-3 at that point.
Then you lose to Houston. Then you beat Detroit, the Chargers, and Cincinnati. You should have won all 3 of those games. So, because Detroit didn't even have Matt Stafford. They were starting like Matt Driscoll in that game. So, I'm not even worried. Then you lose to the Sam Darnold-led Jets, 34-3. Then you lose to Kansas City 40-9. Then you lose to Tennessee by 21. Then you lose to a Jacksonville team who you were beating 16-3 at halftime. And then they outscored you 17-0 in the second half. Then you beat the Chargers because you should have. And then you lose to Denver, led by Drew Lock. Yep. Now, I'm not going to say that those seasons are uneven, but those seasons are pretty damn uneven.
I mean, okay, yeah, that's true. But the Raiders were also like emotionally going through something since they're leaving Oakland. So
how does that affect the players?
Whoa.
How does
Derek Carr's been with them.
That may affect the fans.
Derek Carr's been with them his entire career. Like he thought when he got drafted by Oakland, he probably thought I'm gonna retire in Oakland. But no, now assuming he stays with the Raiders,
Doesn't matter. It's the organization. It's not the.
Oh, that's tough. Plus, the media always asking him, "Oh, this is gonna be like your last time playing at the Coliseum, last time in Oakland." I don't know. It's taxing on you. Plus, he has Gruden as a coach.
Oh man, nah, that one caught me off guard. But nah, I mean, come on, like, Jameis Winston is better than Derek Carr. Tampa Bay had a much better season despite them having the same record.
So if the Buccaneers get Derek Carr,
and how many
games
Oakland
are they
Raiders,
they might win like 3 games.
That
could put them in position to get like top 2, top 3 draft pick.
And if the Oakland Raiders get Jameis Winston, they might easily have a 10-11 win season. Easy.
Yeah, so it's a win-win. Right. So the Raiders are set up to fight to at least be in the hunt, maybe even be a wild card, even make the playoffs, and then the Buccaneers can
especially
can
now
take
that
a
there's
gap
7
year.
teams.
Yeah.
Think about it. If
exactly.
7 teams were taken in this year's playoffs,
Exactly.
if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had beaten Atlanta, they could have gone in because they had the tiebreaker over y'all.
Yeah, that's true.
They could have. If Tampa Bay had beaten Atlanta in the 17 format, the Buccaneers would have went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, the Buccaneers were literally so close to making it to the playoffs.
And I think like the new CBA rules are going to affect the way like teams approach this free agency, because like all you have to do is like strive to be like an 8-8 team.
Well, see, now there's 17 games now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like a 9-8 team. So
I just want to know who's going to be the captain of the 8 and 9 now. There's no more 8 and 8, so I just want to know who's going to be right in that 9 and 8, 8 and 9, 9 and 8, 8 and 9.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting. Probably Jason Garrett's with the Giants now, so maybe the Giants.
Probably, yeah. But all right, let's lay off Derek Carr right now and talk about the lesser Carr, David. Now, David Carr came up with this list, right?
Yeah.
Top 10 free agent targets at the quarterback position. He has, the only part of this list I agree with is that he has Tua at 1 and Justin Herbert at 7. Those are the only 2 areas where our lists are the same. Then he has Dak, Joe Burrow, Teddy Bridgewater, Tom Brady, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill, and Phillip Rivers. Now, before I get into my list, I would just like to say to everyone listening at home, I do not like Jordan Love. I have never liked Jordan Love. What we're doing to Jordan Love right now is exactly what we did to Sam Darnold when he got drafted. we saw a very, very good junior season. Then saw a pretty disappointing senior season. It was like, maybe he could still be like he was his junior year. No, that's not how stuff works. It's not like that. No, it's not like he had like some sophomore slump or something. No, Jordan Love has been starting at Utah State for the better part of 3 years now. First year he kind of split reps, but he did have some nice playing time. Did get some solid playing time, and then he improved into his junior year, and then he dropped off his senior year. Everyone's saying, Jordan Love is maybe the 3rd best quarterback in this draft. Really?
That's ridiculous.
Really? Let's look at Jordan Love, shall we? Before I get into where David Carr is wrong.
And tell the viewers where he went to school and the conference he plays in.
Oh yeah, Utah State.
Right.
the Mountain West Conference, a conference, by the way, that he didn't even win.
Right.
But anyway, Jordan Love, this season, finished 75th in passer rating behind quarterback studs like Shea Patterson, Khalil Tate, who was benched, and Adrian Martinez, the most egregious preseason number 3 Heisman favorite in my lifetime. He also led all Division I quarterbacks in interception thrown. That means FBS and FCS schools. He also finished 50th in completion percentage behind greats like Jake Luton out of Oregon State and Steven Montez out of Colorado. He finished 73rd.
2 Pac-12 schools, by the way.
Boo. He finished 73rd in yards per attempt. I mean, wait, what does everyone see in this kid that I'm not seeing?
Right.
I saw him get blown out 45-6 by LSU. I saw him have a down year in everything. He fell in every statistical category: completion percentage, yards per attempt, passer rating, touchdowns. The only statistic he went up in is interceptions. He lost to Kent State in the bowl game, 51-41. Same Kent State team that lost to Arizona State and Wisconsin by a combined total of 78-7. And yet you want to tell me that he's the 6th best quarterback to target in free agent? And are you? No.
He's not even the 6th
He's not
best
even the
quarterback
top 10.
in his conference or in the draft.
He got completely overshadowed by a freshman quarterback who had concussion problems. Like,
Right.
and then he got overshadowed by his 2nd and 3rd string. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't understand this. Like,
Maybe they view him the way you view Jameis Winston. They overlook the interceptions.
You have to. I hope so.
I just don't know.
I don't watch a lot of Utah State.
Who's scouting Utah State games?
I don't.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Honestly, people who want to look at Jordan Love, I didn't watch a lot of Utah State, but when I saw them, I was like, okay, I see this Jordan Love kid. See, he's like supposed to be great and all that. I mean, I saw what he did last year, and he just wasn't able to replicate it.
Yeah.
And then you want to give him 6 over Ryan Tannehill? You know, Ryan Tannehill did beat the number 1. He did beat, what, the 1 seed?
Yeah, the Patriots were.
He did. He went into Gillette.
Yeah, he went Gillette and beat them.
And beat the GOAT.
Yeah, and then
he beat
the Ravens. Were a 1 seed, I believe.
And then he was beating Patrick Mahomes 17-7.
Yeah.
In the second quarter. Do you not understand? Ryan Tannehill damn near became the first quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes twice.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. No. I don't understand why Tannehill's so low. Like that's the biggest issue I have with that list that David Carr has.
I just want to know. All right, so now that I got my Jordan Love hate out the way, let's talk about my top 10 list. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I have Tua at 1 over Joe Burrow. Why? Because Joe Burrow, yes, he was. I had argued he had probably. No, not even probably. He had the greatest quarterback season in history. I mean, I just got to call it how I see it. The throws that he made were amazing. And he led his team to national championship, blew the doors off Oklahoma. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, yeah, he had a great season. But it is not lost on me that just a year ago, this same Joe Burrow lost to Texas A&M at home in a 6 overtime game. That's not lost to me. I still remember that clearly because it was one of the wildest games I ever forced myself to sit through my entire life.
I mean, you're gonna put that against him though, even after a Heisman season.
Do you not know how many great Heisman winning quarterbacks who splashed in their senior year, completely fault? Not even Heisman winning quarterbacks, just quarterbacks who just had just great senior season. Look at Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, right. That's true.
He had a good senior season.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean,
Paxton Lynch. Where's Paxton Lynch?
I mean, Mitch and Paxton Lynch didn't win the national championship, though.
That is a valid point. They did not win the national championship. But so what if they did? But so what if Joe Burrow did, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, but like SEC's damn near NFL conference. Like it's pretty close.
same NFL conference that has Matt Stafford as the incumbent quarterback for the Lions, right?
Yeah.
It's the same NFL quarterback that gave us studs like A.J. McCarron and Aaron Murray, who currently plays for the Tampa Bay Vipers, I believe.
Oof, that's tough. Yeah, no.
And I'm not dissing on these guys at all. I'm just saying, look, Joe Burrow had a spectacular senior season. Yes. But understand, he had probably one of the great offensive minds
Yeah, sure.
in the NFL in Joe Brady. Leave Drew Brees to go to LSU and help out Joe Burrow. He doesn't have a Joe Brady. He has an Urban Meyer reject and Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. A disciple of Marvin Lewis and Urban Meyer.
That's tough.
The range of success is drastic, okay? And I don't know if you've noticed, but Cincinnati Bengals have not looked like an organization to make really good moves for the team. They drafted John Ross in the first round, for example. Like,
I mean, he was getting college and he was really fast. He's really fast. I'll say that.
and they haven't been able to use him at all.
Yeah, right.
Like, think about it. You have arguably the second fastest guy in the NFL.
Right.
And if you look at his stats, he's a scrub. There's no reason John Ross shouldn't have over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns every year. There's no reason for it.
And they have AJ Green too.
AJ Green stays hurt, and I don't blame him.
I'd stay here too if I was in that organization.
Exactly. Like, that organization just set up for guys to just game manage themselves.
Yeah.
That's all AJ Green is doing. He's doing low management because he doesn't want to play. He's doing to the Bengals what Kawhi did to the Spurs.
Right.
He's like, all right, yeah, I'm done. Just like, let me leave. Trade me. I don't care. Just like, let me go. No, he doesn't want to play for the Bengals. And I don't blame him. The Bengals have not shown themselves to be a coherent organization. At all. That's why Carson Palmer left. If Carson Palmer decides, I want to go to Oakland.
Right.
Instead of Cincinnati, a team where he's made and gone to the playoffs with and like built up a solid name for himself. He's like, I want to go to Oakland. The same Oakland that drafted Jamarcus Russell #1 overall. He was like, yeah, I want to play for them.
Yeah.
Over Cincinnati? Yeah, that should be pretty telltale right there. And then, so you have 2-1. That's why I have 2-1. Tua has done it for so long. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow won the national championship. So did Tua. Did I miss something? Joe Burrow,
as what, a sophomore?
As a sophomore, he came into the second half and beat Georgia.
Yeah, that was impressive.
That was Georgia's championship to lose, and they lost it thanks to Tua.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean the big issue with Tua, like Tua probably has the higher upside. It's just like health with Tua. But no, it's gonna be interesting. Like,
it was health with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't let health. I'm gonna tell you. If there's any NFL scouts listening, which there probably aren't, but still, don't let health keep you from drafting something.
If you're the Bengals, you don't want to draft Tua.
Understand, me putting Tua above Joe Burrow isn't saying that I believe the Bengals should draft Tua. Right. Because I wouldn't even, if the Bengals select Tua should pull an Eli.
Just say
no, I'm not playing for Cincinnati.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good for him. I think for the Bengals, like that's also just like a safe pick with getting Joe Burrow. Like no one's gonna attack ownership and the general manager for taking Tua or for taking Joe Burrow. So.
Exactly. And then what people don't understand about Joe Burrow was Yes, Joe Burrow was a great quarterback, but he also had, when it mattered, a good defense, and one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah.
The Bengals have none of those things. Neither one. They have Joe Mixon. Ooh.
Solid.
You know, the Bengals haven't had a relevant running back since Gio Bernard. That's probably back when they had the tandem of Gio Bernard and Jeremy Hill. Ever since then, they've had some splash players. And I'm not saying Joe Mixon is bad. Joe Mixon just had a terrible year last year by his standards. I just call it how you see it. So, Joe Burrow is going to go to a Cincinnati team, doesn't have the offensive mind, doesn't have the offensive weapons, doesn't have the defense, doesn't have the running back, doesn't even have the Tyler Eifert. So, the only upgrade he has in as far as standards is tight end, doesn't have the offensive line, doesn't have the home field advantage, and you want to tell me that Joe Burrow is somehow going to magically whip this franchise back into shape?
Yeah, I don't think so. But anything more than if he does what Kyler did, record-wise, that's an upgrade. Even though Kyler only won 5 games.
Yes.
That's still I think Cincinnati would take that.
But that's assuming that Cincinnati is going to win 5 games.
Yeah,
you got to think about it.
Yeah.
Big Ben's coming back. And people forget, if the Steelers had won on the final day, they were going to the playoffs instead of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people remember that. All they had to do, Pittsburgh was so bad they couldn't get past the Jets when they needed to. That was the only issue. Pittsburgh's quarterbacks couldn't lead them past the Jets.
Right.
If they could have found some way to get Teddy Bridgewater or Tyrod Taylor or somebody, we're not talking about Tennessee beating New England and Baltimore. We talk about the Steelers losing to New England in the wild card round. But still, if the Steelers were had just any good quarterback production, they're going to the playoffs. So the Steelers, now they're getting their best quarterback on their roster back. He's had a full season of rest. The Steelers are not going to be a bad team. The Ravens, of course, are not going to be a bad team. I don't believe the Browns are going to be worse than the Bengals.
They got rid of Freddie Kitchens, so that's probably an upgrade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the Browns, I don't believe, are going to be a bad team. They're going to be a much better team. Because what they go, 5-11 this year?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns win at least 8 games. I wouldn't.
They have the talent to do so, and I'm assuming Baker Mayfield's gonna have a much better season this upcoming year.
So Joe Burrow comes in, being as he could be the worst quarterback in this division this year.
Yeah.
That's a very high possibility. Joe Burrow could be the worst quarterback in his division.
Do you think Big Ben's gonna come back and actually be that good?
Yes, I do. Yeah, think about it. Yes, Big Ben hurt his elbow, right?
Yeah.
But everybody knows Big Ben, when he can't throw, he has those gadget plays where he'll run for 5 yards and just lateral it to some random lineman, and he runs for 50 yards for a touchdown. He's done it before. He did it against Jacksonville in that playoff game a couple years back. Big Ben's improvisation and the fact that he doesn't, it's hard to get him down. So you got arms on him and everything. He just stands there like a rock and then just throws a 20-yard dart. I believe Big Ben will be good. Also, Baltimore is losing a lot of people this year.
Yeah, they are.
Due to free agency. And they're not going to be able to sign all of them back. So.
Yeah, and also it's with the parity in the NFL, and you can't really tell how much the team's going to drop off. Everyone thought the Rams were going to be so good after losing the Super Bowl, and they were a no-show. So it's hard to see if the Ravens will replicate what they did, but they're still going to be better than the Bengals, even if they lose their pieces.
Exactly. Even after drafting Joe Burrow, the Bengals would still be the worst. They're still the worst team in that division.
Yeah.
They just are. And it's not even a diss on Cincinnati, not a diss on Joe Burrow. They're just still worse than the Bengals. Well, all right, so off of my first top 201, Joe Burrow 2. I have Teddy Bridgewater at 3, Dak Prescott 4, Tom Brady 5. And
Who do you have 5?
Tom Brady.
Okay.
And I rank these because Teddy Bridgewater probably wants to leave He does.
Oh yeah. He
It's
wants to get
about
paid.
who wants to leave more, right? From more to less. Teddy Bridgewater probably wants to leave the most because he just wants to have a team, right? That's what he's talked about. That's all the
I mean, yeah,
noise
he had a
that's been
team
going on.
in
He had a team in Minnesota.
got hurt, and lost it.
And people forget when he took that team to the playoffs, they should have won that game, but Blair Walsh missed. It was worse than the Matt Gay miss win against.
Yeah, no, that was awful. I rewatch it every January.
I'm like, yes, like NFL Network force feeds me that missed field goal every wild card round. I'm like, Teddy Bridgewater could have gone deep into that playoffs if it was not for that missed field goal. So he just wants to have his team back. Dak Prescott doesn't want to leave Dallas. He doesn't want to leave more. He wants to stay in Dallas more than Teddy Bridgewater wants to stay in New Orleans, but less than Tom Brady wants to stay in New England.
You think so?
Yes. Out of these three quarterbacks, Tom Brady is probably the one who's most organizationally loyal because he's been there for so long. Dak just wants his money. So I feel like if any team comes with the right price tag, Dak is going to go to, right? Tom Brady's at 5 because I feel like out of those three quarterbacks, Tom Brady's probably going to be the hardest quarterback to convince to leave their team, right? With Teddy Bridgewater, he just wants a team. I feel like he just wants a shot. Doesn't matter about what pieces the team has. He just wants his shot, and as long as the money's right, he's going to go. Dak Prescott just wants his money. He doesn't care about pieces. He doesn't care about organization. He doesn't care about fan base, division, none of that. He just wants his money. Team gives him his money, able to beat out the Cowboys, then Dak Prescott's going to go. Tom Brady is probably the hardest one to convince because he wants to stay in New England.
I think he wants to win on his own without Bill Belichick.
I don't even think that. I think he just wants his due respect, right? He just wants his due respect.
You think he's going to get the respect by staying, though?
I mean, everyone else respects him, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like, how much... I feel like Tom Brady's at a point to where he's like, I don't think there's a way for me to make these guys respect me more than they already do, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, I think at this point in his career...
because if he leaves them, and then they're stuck... Because they have Jarrett Stidham now, who Bill Belichick believes is going to be the next Jimmy G, which, good luck with that. Yeah. I saw Jarrett Stidham in college. Wasn't that impressed. So that's who's going to be the quarterback of the future. And if he leaves and goes somewhere else, and he believes... I don't think Tom Brady thinks that if he leaves, he's going to be able to make them respect him more than if he stays. I believe that 100%. The Patriots are all about winning. They don't really care about everybody else. Yeah. Like, they just take it business as usual. Like,
I mean, I think he's listening though to like people who are saying that at his age he was only able to make the playoffs because of the defense and because Bill Belichick is the head coach.
No, I don't believe that to be the case. It was because of the defense won. Because Belichick was coach too, and because he plays in the weakest division in NFL football. Yeah. I mean, look, Tom Brady is still a good quarterback. He's still serviceable. Like, if you put the right pieces around him, I feel like he would flourish. But the problem is the optics. Because essentially the team that is best suited for a Tom Brady is either Dallas, who still have Dak, or Tennessee, who just beat them in the playoffs.
Right.
So if Tom Brady goes to Tennessee, I wonder if Tom Brady's head is going to be like, are they going to react? How to react to KD? This, that, and the third. Tom Brady's probably like going through that in his head. So out of all those three quarterbacks, Tom Brady's going to be probably the hardest to leave. So that's my top tier of quarterbacks to go after. Now, to my second tier, I have Ryan Tannehill at 6. Dude just won the playoff game. Yeah. 2 playoff games, matter of fact. and we're gonna not what?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
how David Carr had Mariota ahead of Tannehill. That made no sense to me.
I wish I understood it too.
Yeah.
Because it really didn't make any sense. And I have Justin Herbert at 7. The only reason I have Justin Herbert below Tannehill is because Justin Herbert, you're probably gonna have to mold into a different system. Same thing with Marcus Mariota, because not a lot of teams run that speed.
Yeah, that Oregon offense.
That Oregon offense. If any team would be a good place for Justin Herbert, it'll probably be Philly. It'll probably be Philly.
And they don't need him.
And they don't need him. Or Kansas City, and they don't need him. Or the Chargers, and they don't. I don't even think they're looking at drafting a quarterback in this draft. They're probably going to look at free agency. 8, I have Phillip Rivers, because yes, Phillip Rivers he threw his team out of games religiously, but they also had a lot of injuries. That game against the Titans, they should have won. People missed that. People missed this too. They should have beat the Titans, but Melvin Gordon fumbles on the 1-yard line. I'm not gonna forget how Phillip Rivers made Aaron Rodgers look like Paxton Lynch. I can't forget that. Phillip Rivers still has some good games in him. I don't believe he's completely fallen off the cliff.
Right.
I just feel like, health, running backs weren't producing like they used to. At this point, Phillip Rivers needs a solid ground game. They need a solid ground game. Even though, the Chargers did terrific last year when they got in the wild card and beat Baltimore, Phillip Rivers is at his best when he was at his best when he had LaDainian Tomlinson. When he had a star running back.
Yeah, like that 06 team that
06 team.
It's
that
crazy.
literally is like that end of 2000s team.
Yeah.
Team like that, two solid wideouts, reliable tight end, good running game, good, not great defense. That's really all they needed. That's really all Phillip Rivers needs. And now they have Marcus Mariota, because I don't know. I just never really liked. Ryan Tannehill is probably the Tennessee quarterback I've liked the most in a long time. Long time. And I understand Marcus Mariota has had his moments. The 43-13 game against Cleveland. Last year when they blew out the Cowboys, the touchdown pass to himself when they came back against the Chiefs. Yeah. He has had his moments. But I feel like that super long touchdown run against the Jaguars. But I feel like now it has come to a point to where Marcus Mariota is probably not the best quarterback option for that team, the way that team has built themselves. And I just don't think that Marcus Mariota is as much as a game changer / manager as Ryan Tannehill is. Ryan Tannehill can do either one. He can change the game with his scrambling ability, scrambling out the pocket, looking for something. Or he can manage games well. Like how he only had 167, below 200 passing yards combined against the Patriots and the Ravens. All he did was throw when he had to and
give it to Derrick
Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not out here fumbling handoffs, so I mean, as long as he gets that down, you have a pretty solid quarterback. And then at 10, I have Jacob Eason. Because, yes, I did a lot on Jacob Eason. I don't like Jacob Eason, but I like him a lot more than I like Jordan Love. And Jacob Eason did win his bowl game, unlike Jordan Love. And Jacob Eason did have some good seasons.
And he was a beast
Georgia.
in high school.
Yeah, but so was Kyle Allen. So, take that with a grain of salt. So, I'll take Jacob Eason at 10 because he's a solid second-round pick. Maybe you can set him behind.
Really? You think he's that high, a second-round pick?
That's what all the boards have him as.
That's crazy.
As far as quarterbacks go, it's not bad to pick him in second.
I think he's just gonna be a lifelong backup. I don't see a team really seeing him as a starter with the talent of quarterbacks there are right now.
Sometimes you don't even need that. really need, like, you just need someone to be there just in case.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's what happened. That's what derailed Carolina's season last year when they started 7-2 and then they lost 7 straight, because they was like, damn, we got nobody behind Cam. Cam, please fix your shoulder as you continue to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game. That's what we need.
Kyle Allen and Will Greer weren't cutting it.
Kyle Allen, Will Greer, Gary Gilbert, Taylor Heineke. Not of them were cutting it. I'm sorry. I would not be surprised if none of those guys are in a Panthers uniform next year. Because everyone's saying the Panthers are going to draft Jacob Eason in the first round, which they shouldn't.
Yeah, it'd be a waste.
I would either trade for a second round pick and draft them in the second round, or just draft somebody else.
Yeah, it's a waste. I don't even think anyone's gonna take Jacob Eason that high. But yeah, no, it doesn't make sense for the Panthers either. I think they're just gonna have like a replication of what they had this past year if they do that.
Yeah. All right. So I know I said this was a completely football season episode, but I lied. All right. So who do you have right now for the rookie of the year? Zion or Ja?
Ja. Like Zion's having an amazing season. I think any other year he'd win, but like Ja's just having too good of a year and he's played the entire season.
Thank you. Thank you. Ja. Okay. Yes, Zion was having a great year. Like, we knew Zion was gonna be good. No one thought he was gonna be terrible.
Right.
Granted, nobody thought he was gonna be this good this early, especially after his injury. But nobody didn't expect this to happen, right? Because there's nobody in the NBA with the size, the strength, the length to necessarily guard Zion effectively, except for maybe like Giannis, right? And Giannis is a freak of nature in his own right.
Right.
So Zion will pretty much eat everybody else up for dinner except the Bucks, and the league is just gonna have to sit there and watch. Ja, on the other hand, Ja has changed life for Memphis. Ja and Brandon Clark.
Yeah. You guys have actually drafted with sneaky draft picks. So I didn't even think Jaren Jackson was going to be that good, and I think
I knew Jaren Jackson was going to be a beast, but I didn't. Well, see, I saw a bit of Brandon Clark at Gonzaga, so I was like, okay, he's cool. I saw Dylan Brooks a bit last year, and when he was at Oregon, so I'm like, all right, he's going to be solid. But last year, with the team not knowing whether or not they were going to tank or whether or not they were going to try to go for the playoffs, because another thing about Memphis was Memphis got the second pick in the draft, but with 25 games in, they were tops in the West.
Right.
So it's not like, Memphis has been trashed ever. They had a really good team last year, but now it's just. But then they was like, you know what, let's tank. And then they started playing a whole bunch of guys in the roles that they necessarily weren't ready for, and they didn't know they were going to have. So, but now they had a year to acclimate, a year to get ready. So now they're safe. My thing between Zion and Ja is, I believe Ja should get it regardless. But knowing how people vote, it's all going to depend on who gets the higher seed in the playoffs. Yeah, that's all it depends on.
Especially since it's so close between Memphis and New Orleans.
And it's so unfair.
But Zion's played, 10 games?
Yes.
So.
Which is why I'm not going to say he should be disqualified, but I'm like, dude's only played 10 games. Yeah. I think Ja's played all of the games so far. He may miss a couple.
Yeah, I know in Joel Embiid's rookie year, he only played 31 games. And
then he lost.
Yeah, he lost to Mirotic, so I think it's going to be similar, because I think by the end of the season, Zion's going to play, 30-something games?
Yes.
So I don't see it. And it's not like his stats are that much better.
He's
averaging 22 and 7.5. That's solid.
And then Ja is 17, 4 and 7.
Yeah, so it's not like Zion's averaging 35 a game.
Exactly. And New Orleans has 9 games against teams plus 500.
Wow.
That's second lowest in the league to Philadelphia, who has 8. Memphis is tied with Milwaukee for the most games against teams 500 or better, with 16. So if Memphis manages to keep that playoff spot or even climb up to the 7th or 6th seed, it doesn't matter what. Zion can average 100 points from now to the end of the season. If the Pelicans don't make the playoffs or they have a lower seed than the Memphis Grizzlies with the schedule that they have coming up, Ja's gonna win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
It's no question. And I feel like the thing is that like why everyone's like so like Zion or draft because this hasn't really been that impressive of a draft. We got spoiled last year. This year it's like, yeah, I mean, you're good, but I mean, who's the number 3 pick last year?
R.J. Barrett
Last year.
Yeah,
Luka was 3.
Luka was 3. Trae Young was 5. Yeah.
R.J.
Yeah. I mean, last year it was mostly just Luka and Trae though. I mean, DeAndre Ayton had a good season.
Luka, Trae.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton, and then you have other guys now coming into the roles like Devontae Graham and everybody else.
That's very true.
I mean, so we were spoiled with the great class. Jaren Jackson had a good year, so we were spoiled last year, and then we look at the rookies now, we're like, I mean,
yeah, it's not the same outside of like the first 2 picks. John Zion hasn't really been anyone.
I mean, like.
Or like Tyler Hero, I guess, by default.
I mean, R.J. Barrett needs great players. I've discovered that quickly.
Yeah.
He's good in his own right, but the reason he was so good at Duke is because he had great people around him to take the attention off him. When it's just him on that court, he's not that good.
Yeah. Because even when he was like in high school, he went to like Montverde, so that's like a talented team.
Exactly.
And then the school in Canada he went to was talented, so. It's like the first time he really has had pieces around him.
Cam Reddish hasn't fulfilled the pre-Duke hype yet. Mm-hmm. I believe he will. I feel like that's
he peaked in high school.
That pre-Duke hype yet. Now he did have a pretty good game last night, where he stole the ball, made the go-ahead dunk. But he had an impressive January, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 40-80 shooting. That'll work for the 10 pick. Jarrett Culver, number 6. Inconsistent. Shoots 27% from 3, 47% from the line as a shooting guard. He's just Alonzo Ball transported elsewhere.
Yeah.
And when I say he's inconsistent, let me tell you exactly what I mean. Because this is terrifying. From November 13th through the 8th. 12 games. 10 of those games, he scored 10 or plus points. From December 9th to 28th, he had 8 straight games with 7 or fewer points. And then, from December 30th to the 18th, he had 11 straight games with 10 plus points. He averaged 15.9 points in that stretch. And then from January 20th to the All-Star break, 10 out of his 11 games, he scored 7 or fewer points.
Wow.
Inconsistent.
Yeah.
Very inconsistent. Whether that's minutes or
I think a lot of those games
injuries,
where he didn't score much, I think Carl Anthony Towns is also injured. And so, I mean, maybe he just can't play well. Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't really a great pick because like he had a good tournament showing and like he had a solid season, but I don't know, it was kind of I didn't see much out of him in college to be that good.
Who was the 11th pick last year?
I looked that up.
I can't remember who was the 11th pick last year.
Who's the 11th pick this year?
Cameron Johnson.
That was an awful pick. That was probably the
8
worst.
Points, 3 rebounds in 20 minutes for the Suns.
And he's old. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wow.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Cam Johnson. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was good last year in his rookie year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And who was the 14th pick?
Michael Porter Jr., who was sat out last year but has been impressive in his minutes this year.
The 14th pick this year, Romeo Langford.
Yeah, hasn't lived up to the hype.
Played in 18 NBA games, averages 3 points and a rebound.
Wow.
The draft hasn't. I just haven't been impressed by this year.
Yeah.
Outside of Ja, Zion, Tyler Hero, and Brandon Clark, who's been outperforming his draft position. He's the Kyle Kuzma of this draft. Brandon Clark is. He's the Kyle Kuzma of this draft.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, Gonzaga usually doesn't. Like, historically, they've been really good, but I've kind of been disappointed by their draft picks. But like,
most def. But they have a couple good bigs.
Sabonis has been good.
Sabonis, Zach Collins for Portland.
Yeah.
Kelly Olynyk was good when he played at Boston.
Yeah.
They have a point guard in the league now who I can't think of, but I think they have a guard somewhere. Didn't Rui Hachimura go to Gonzaga too?
Yeah.
Then you got Brandon Clark. So I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I think of like Gonzaga, I think of like Adam Morrison, who was like the biggest bust in the NBA.
Nah, bro. Kwame Brown was easily the biggest bust.
Yeah, that's true.
Easily the biggest bust in my lifetime. I cannot believe. And he got to play with Kobe. He got to play with Kobe. And he got a ring.
Played with Kobe and Jordan.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
Right. I don't think any other players played with Kobe and Jordan except Kwame Brown. It's just it's a shame.
Not Horace Grant. Even though I do think Horace Grant. He got 7 rings. I can't think of his name for the life of me.
Robert Horry?
Yes. I think no. Did he play? Or did he?
He played for the Lakers. I don't think he played for the Bulls.
Then it probably was Horace Grant. Then. No, never mind. Horace Grant.
I don't know if he played for the Lakers.
He played. I think he played with Johnson's Lakers. He didn't play with Kobe's Lakers. But all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. We will see y'all. Peace out.
Peace.